Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Imagineers Disney podcast. I'm your host Matt, and I am joined once again by Susie. She is back.
I'm back. Hello.
How you feeling? Feeling better?
I am feeling better. Yeah, thanks for asking. It was just a little stomach thing for a little while, but it was bad enough to keep me away from a Disney conversation, which tells you
It's pretty bad.
how serious it was.
Desperate times, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm alive.
always glad to hear. So we are back for another exciting episode, and this week our topic is going to be the July 4th celebrations at Disney World. So if you have never experienced July 4th at Disney, you're really missing out. I mean, seriously. There is so much to do. The fireworks are incredible. There's just so much fun events that go on that it has become one of my favorite times. Even though it is hot, it has become one of my favorite times to experience the parks throughout the year. So let's get started on what you can experience and where. And let's first hit the resorts. So I know that in years past, like last year, there was a cookout at the Grand Floridian. Like they had steak and hot dogs and like baked beans and sides and desserts and stuff. It was just like this really cool picnicky type event.
Now you say last year.
Yes, last year. So it was a ticketed event, so it was limited and it was a little pricey. But they have not announced yet what they are doing for this year. I expect to see that probably, and I don't know why it usually takes this long to come out, but usually that last week in June is when it typically pops up for the finalized list of events. So as soon as we get word of what exactly is taking place, and if they're going to repeat that again at the Grand Floridian or another resort like the Polynesian, I expect it to be at the Grand Floridian again if they do it. I mean, it just kind of fits, I think, a little bit
Very
better.
Americana.
Yeah. So, but as soon as that news breaks, we will definitely release a blog post and get that information out to you. So that is the cookout that they had last year. Now, something they do have every year, and it's so great. Like I cannot express enough how much fun this is just to go see. It is some events over at the Fort Wilderness Campground, and every year the residents that are staying there in the cabins or at the campground who have rented golf carts, they actually decorate them in like streamers and patriotic stuff and Disney characters, and they have a golf cart 4th of July parade. It is
That's
so
so
cool.
If you've never been to Fort Wilderness before, those people, and I haven't been there for 4th of July, but obviously it's a big deal on 4th of July with the parade, but they go all out with decorating their golf carts. Like Christmas time, they have giant like blow up Mickeys strapped to the top and stuff hanging off the side and lights and everything. I would love to see the parade of the patriotic golf carts.
Yeah, same thing like when they do it at Christmas. Like I know a lot of people do the Christmas lights and the Christmas decorations. Same deal, but with the golf carts. So when you're staying at Fort Wilderness at the campground, I highly recommend doing a golf cart because it's just the easiest way to get around the campground. But
It's
yeah,
true.
people just decorate them, and like there's videos on YouTube that you can go check out just to see.
How
All
creative.
the all the creative ones. You know, I've seen a lot of like Muppet floats carts, and
They're basically floats if you're having fun.
I mean,
why not?
some of them are so detailed and just so great. So
Also, Fort Wilderness, just throwing this out there, it's not like an official. I mean, there's Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, but the campsites have grills. So if you just want to kind of like go to Disney and avoid the crowds and take it easy and, see fireworks from a distance or just enjoy Disney for a couple days, you can do it at your campsite and your own grill and bring the watermelon and the coleslaw and just chill out.
moving on to the parks. So each park, I think really the only park that doesn't really do anything at all for 4th of July is Animal Kingdom, sadly.
Doesn't really fit, I guess, in any way. Unless there's just like a bunch of bald eagles, I guess,
That's true. Yeah.
doing stuff. Nope, bird show. I'm out. Let's go back to Hollywood Studios.
Oh yes, Susie's fear of birds. So,
Ugh.
for those of you who missed it on, it was a few podcasts back. Apparently, Susie was attacked by a bird. Was it at that show?
No, it was at the Jacksonville Zoo.
Oh, that's right. It was at the local zoo. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a Disney terror story.
No, but it's scarring enough.
But the new show has Doug and
We didn't see
And
it when we were
Russell.
there, actually. I think it was just opening. Like we were down there for Animal Kingdom's like birthday. It was a crazy day. But I digress. 4th of July.
So 4th of July at Disney in the parks. So I would say Hollywood Studios has a couple of things that you can do. First and foremost, Muppet Vision 3D. Now I know this may sound weird to you to go celebrate on the 4th of July, but
at all.
for those of you who have not experienced the attraction, Sam Eagle, one of the greatest Muppet characters ever made, is the embodiment of America. He is the spirit of America.
It's true.
So
I love in Muppet Christmas Carol where he's like, "It is the American way," and then he's like, Rizzo's like, "Come here," and like he whispers something into his ear because Christmas Carol is in England. And he's like, "It is the British way." Like he's just so American. And you've definitely got to go see Muppet Vision 3D to get a whole like some of the best Sam moments with his salute to all nations, but mostly America.
or it's a glorious 3-hour finale. You have a minute and a half.
If you ever hear anyone yelling out too, going into a show that stopping in the middle of the row is
Yes.
unpatriotic, that's where it comes from. A little bit of a stretch. It might not be the envision or the vision of 4th of July that the founding fathers may have had in mind. But Muppet Vision 3D is a fun way to salute to America.
For sure. I mean, I love that. I love it. I don't go every time when I go to the park, but I mean, if you're wanting to do, this is our 4th of July must do list, Disney checklist, and Muppet Vision 3D, just because of Sam and his great lines and his epic fireworks show at the end of the attraction it makes our list.
It's so silly that I love seeing people who've never seen it before when they go in and they have they're like, is this good? Like, why are people laughing? I feel like only the tried and true Disney fans are the ones who enjoy it. Everyone else is like, okay, we did. It's like going to the Tiki Room. Okay, so we did that attraction. What's next? I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
They
So,
better never take it away.
nah, hopefully not. We'll see. So in years past, they have actually had some 4th of July fireworks in the park, but I think they have permanently switched over to the Galactic Spectacular, the Star Wars show. So you can still get fireworks at Hollywood Studios. They just won't be patriotic. So, but that's okay.
Trying to think of some way to make Star Wars patriotic, and I mean, there's red and blue, white and blue lightsabers. Ahsoka
Yeah,
has a white
yeah.
lightsaber in some books. So no,
Darth-
that's a stretch.
Darth Vader's kind of pasty white under the mask. So
There's
where
a
are we going with this?
Senate. There's a Senate.
Yes,
The Republic.
Republic. It
Even
was
though
a
we're-
republic. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you can go celebrate America at the other two parks in Epcot and Magic Kingdom. So first, let's hit Magic Kingdom. I think the first thing that you need to do on our grand tour of everything patriotic at Disney for the 4th of July is, once again, it's another Muppets thing. So I think it's like a trend.
Yeah.
It's
Muppets are patriotic.
it's great moments in history, but just the American parts. Yes, that is actually the name of the show. It is right above the Hall of Presidents. It is hosted by the Muppets, and they will tell you stories of the founding of America, the Declaration of Independence, Paul Revere's Bride. So I mean, it's pretty cool. So and
My
funny.
favorite line from that, and this isn't a direct quote, is when like Miss Piggy's wanting to be a king, and I forget who says like, Miss Piggy, you can't be a king, you're a lady. And then someone else is like, she's also a pig, so that's the least of your problems. It's so silly. I love the Muppets.
Yeah, it's so tongue in cheek, and I love the Muppets, and it's really great. So they do those shows randomly throughout the day. There's actually a schedule
Yeah,
on
it's
your
like
park
every
map.
30
Yeah.
or 40 minutes.
So if you're walking past the Hall of Presidents around those times, stop in. They're just for a few minutes, and they're really funny. So and they kind of just tell a really unique twist on historical events, and it'll tie right into the 4th of July festivities.
Yeah.
Then, of course, right below, great moments in history
Hall of Presidents.
is the Hall of Presidents. So this was just recently refurbished. It took a little while for it to reopen. I mean, it was closed for like a year,
quite a while. Yeah.
a good while. But they have upgraded the screens, the projectors, the film. It's
really
like
good.
really, really clear image. And then, of course, they have added our new president into the mix.
I know people say whatever they want to about the face of Trump's president, but his animatronics body language
Okay.
is
Yeah.
fantastic.
The
Whatever
face-
they're doing there,
The
they need
face
to
is
implement
terrible. The face
Oh,
is
the face is
horrendous. Like
No,
I'm like, like
but
I know
the Harry's himself is
I know there's
interestingly on
there
point.
has been speculation that it was actually Hillary, and then like they just tried to switch it over to Trump.
I don't think Disney's cheap enough for that, but no, his face isn't great.
I would hope
But
not.
we sat in the back, so you
Well,
couldn't really
but
tell.
to be fair though, I mean, Barack Obama looked a little good, and even George W. Bush. I mean, the past couple have the facial features have been off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
know.
I think it goes with the territory, and it's a difficult thing to do, like recreating figures that have to speak.
hmm
Into
But even when he's not speaking, like the way like he turns and looks at everyone else
Now-
is very much his personality.
yes, now the physical gestures with the hands and the body movement, and I love how he's pretty much the only president with his button his jacket, unbuttoned.
unbuttoned. Yeah. Also on point.
So I mean, yeah.
For
So
him.
the tiny details, it kind of fits his personality. So it's kind of cool. But you know, whatever your political leaning is, aside from
Just
that,
go see it.
go see it.
It's
It's a
good
really
show.
it's a really, really cool look into the history of the presidency and just the importance of how that was started, and you know, Washington setting the example of term limits, and you know, Lincoln giving the Gettysburg Address. It just, you know, it's a really cool look into the history of our country and how you know, the way that our country is led has.
Yeah, it's so unique, really. I mean, you can live here your whole life, and I think we take so many things for granted. And I love going in there and seeing, you know, people from different countries, or they've got the little headphones on and they're hearing an interpreted version, and it's really cool to see, you know, hey, that's my country. It makes you a little proud. And also in the, you know, the big like waiting room area, they've got a lot of
Memorabilia.
different memorabilia from different presidents on loan from their library, some replicas of First Lady dresses, just really cool stuff. You can see George W. Bush's baseball cards, and like he wrote notes on them and stuff. It's just really cool.
Yeah, and then the whole attraction itself is dedicated to Walt, because this is something that Walt really believed in and wanted the American public to experience inside the park. So
He's very patriotic.
for sure. So not necessarily saying that the kids will like it, but if you are a history buff or
a nerd like I was growing up, I know I love the Hall of Presidents.
so yeah, that's great. And then to top off all of the 4th of July celebrations in Magic Kingdom, you can go see Celebrate America, which is the fireworks spectacular that they do on July 3rd and 4th. So I think that is very important to know.
Would you recommend going on the 3rd?
Yes, and I will get to why in just a second.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh boy, yes. So the show is the exact same thing on the 3rd and 4th. They don't make any changes. And what really makes this show stand out from others throughout the year, I think it can be compared with the New Year's celebration, which I think is my favorite fireworks thing at Disney, like hands down. This is probably number 2 with for me. This show is what they call perimeter fireworks. So every other night the fireworks are directly behind the castle. They launch them from the way back property of Magic Kingdom, and they're centered behind the castle. Well, for special events like the 4th of July, New Year's, and Halloween parties for the Hallowishes show, they are perimeter fireworks. So you're actually getting 180 degrees of fireworks coverage around you.
Very cool.
So you look to the left and there's fireworks, and you look to the right and there's fireworks, and of course back behind the castle. Shameless plug for our travel agency YouTube channel. I was actually there last year for the 4th of July celebration on July 4th, and we did a multicam edit of the fireworks. So I was inside the park, and I had some friends of mine help me, and they were actually on the beach at the Polynesian, and they got the wide shot of the whole thing. So if you want to taste, and let me just say this out front, video does not do it justice. As with most every show at Disney, you need to experience it yourself. But the perimeter fireworks are just so good, and it is a great show. It is a popular show, so it is very important that you get your spot early if you want to see this. So I think that July 3rd is not as crowded. So that's a great night to see it, and that actually opens up the opportunity to go see the Epcot show on July 4th, and we'll get to that in just a second. So as I mentioned, we shot some video on the beach at the Polynesian. That, if you do not want to deal with the crowd in the Magic Kingdom, the beach over at Grand Floridian and the Polynesian are going to be really, really great spots to see the fireworks. Also, if you have a dining reservation at California Grill at the Contemporary during this time, you can go out there on.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you can go out there on the balcony area that they have for the viewing deck, and also get a really great view that most people don't ever get to see unless they are eating at the unless they are eating at the California Grill.
Is there a spot inside the park that you would recommend or not recommend, because it is at 180? Like, if you're on Main Street, is Main Street going to get in your way? Or obviously you don't want to be on the train station because you can't really turn your head and see stuff very easily.
Right. So I'm going to let everyone in on my little secret. My secret spot. It is my favorite spot to view fireworks at Magic Kingdom. So, and it's actually where I video anything. So anytime I'm videoing a show for the Magic Kingdom at the castle for Happily Ever After, or it's where I shot video for the last show of Wishes. Mm-hmm. There is a point in Main Street where the street crests. So it is the highest point in Main Street, and then it goes downward towards the castle, and then it falls back towards the train station. Mm-hmm. So it's like a little hump. So at the top of that hump is where I like to stand. It is before you get to the partner statue. It's probably 50 yards back from that, and there's actually the pavement kind of changes color. So if you look down, when you see a darker square and a lighter square side by side next to each other, that is the crest of Main Street, and that is my secret spot where I like to camp out and have the best view, in my opinion.
Okay. No, I'm sure it's a great view, but when you're like your secret spot, I was like, oh my gosh, here it comes. And Matt's like, the middle of Main Street? That's it.
Yeah, yep. So,
I mean, it sounds like that does sound great. Doesn't because there's nothing around you obscuring your view.
right. There's no
those
buildings around you,
180
and then
degree.
it's not too close to the castle where you're not missing any of the fireworks effects, and not too far back from the castle where you can't see the projections. So, so yeah, that's my spot. But yeah, but if the crowds are a little bit too much for you, you still need to go get your spot early. But the beach over at the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian are going to offer some really great spots to view the show as well. So I think that's everything in Magic Kingdom. I mean, I think we've got some good stuff in there. A couple shows.
Yeah.
We got the fireworks. So let's move over to Epcot, our last park. And I think this is really where the meat of the 4th of July festivities take place, in my opinion. So over at the American Adventure, we have Voices of Liberty. And
of course.
If you are unfamiliar of who that is, it is the a cappella group that sings in the rotunda of the American Adventure, the American Pavilion in the back of World Showcase. And they do Americana songs. It's just a very, very talented group of vocalists that are, I think, one of the shining highlights of Epcot. So, and a lot of people just, walk by, don't even know they're there sometimes. But, yep, they have daily performances. So they will have shows that day, and you can go hear them sing, and it will be awesome, as always.
Get you in the 4th of July mood.
Then immediately after the Voices of Liberty sing, you can go see the American Adventure, which is about a 30-minute show in the pavilion that goes through basically the highlights of American history. It's narrated by Benjamin Franklin and Mark Twain, and yeah, it's recently been updated, so the movie at the end has added some different clips. It's pretty cool. So once again, if you're a fan of American history, it's a nice show. So go see that show, both of those shows, Voices of Liberty and the American Adventure. Later on that evening, attached to Illuminations, there is a special tag for the 4th of July. It's called Heartbeat of Freedom. It's about 5 minutes. So Illuminations goes through the entire program like as it does every night, but then at the very end there is an extra 5 minutes that has patriotic music, and I am willing to say that it is the most fireworks that I have ever seen go off at one time directly over my head.
Really?
It's intense.
Oh, dang.
So
go Epcot.
Yep. So they launch them in the same place as they do for Illuminations, but they actually also launch them from the top of the American Adventure. So normally I would say that the best viewing, I mean, you can really be anywhere around World Showcase for Illuminations and get a pretty good view. But I like, for this specific show, I like to be closer to the entrance to World Showcase at the front. So
so you get the fireworks in the background of the, okay.
Yep.
I see. Now, it's going to be crowded, but do you think it's like, not number-wise, but do you think like just overall crowding and having people around you as busy as Magic Kingdom on 4th of July?
No, I mean, it's still pretty busy. And, you're going to want to get your spot early. I would actually almost even recommend, if you're there in Epcot for the 4th of July, consider doing a fast pass for Illuminations for that evening. So that way you got your guaranteed spot and you're front and center for the show, and it's a special event, so it only happens once a year. So I mean, if you're willing to do that, I would recommend that for sure. But if you are prone to being scared from loud noises, I mean, it is, the earth shook
That's so
It
cool.
was that much at the end. I mean,
It it was freedom ringing, Matt. That was the freedom ringing.
but it is a really, really cool show. And once again, you can go find videos of that on YouTube. But yeah, pretty intense.
So speaking of crowds, um, these are pretty good policies in general for going to Disney and going to Disney on a during a crowded time. But you're definitely going to want to keep any of these ideas in mind on the 4th of July, 3rd of July, if you're down at Disney. Um, it's going to be hot. I think that's a good thing to go ahead and just say.
Yep,
It's July in Florida.
it's going to be hot,
Be ready for it.
and I think that's maybe the worst thing. So I mean, it is crowded, but I mean,
Like
we
body heat and yeah.
we went last
No.
year, and the park was crowded, but it wasn't like packed. I wouldn't say it was packed because I have experienced the Magic Kingdom on New Year's Eve, and that was
Bless
packed.
you.
I
Bless
mean,
your heart.
shoulder to shoulder for
Mhm.
hours. And it wasn't like that on the 4th of July. In fact, it was actually really cool. So they had released beach balls into the crowd down Main Street. I have the video still on
Oh,
my phone somewhere.
cool.
And just
That's so
popping-
different.
Yeah. So and it was fun. It was a fun way to wait for the fireworks. But yeah. So I mean, it is going to be a little crowded, but the thing you really got to look out for is the heat. So it is super important to keep hydrated. Bring your bottles of water, freeze them, and then they can be like water slushies later on in the day. There
Nice.
are water fountains all throughout Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom, Epcot. Fill up those water bottles. You can get a cup of ice water from every quick service location. So
Yeah.
just,
Do it.
yep.
Also, in addition to bringing your water, I would say also just go ahead and bring your lunch or bring plenty of snacks to keep you full because restaurants are also going to be crowded. But
Mhm.
also, like, were we talking about after Dapper Day? You saw the people who brought like a
Picnic
sub.
lunch.
Yeah, they brought like public subs or something. I think that 4th of July in Magic Kingdom would be such a cute time to have a little picnic
For sure.
over in like the little area in front of the castle.
Yeah,
You
that'd
got
be
your
super fun.
watermelon, your fried chicken. Oh, ugh, no, that might not be good if been in your backpack for a while. Um,
Yeah.
eh, find something and have a little picnic.
Yeah, take advantage of those grass spaces. Well, faux grass, like AstroTurf garden sections to the left and right of Main Street as you pass Casey's and stuff. So it's a good place to just sit and relax and enjoy a picnic lunch if you want to bring it.
Yeah.
Another thing to take into consideration: take advantage of the indoor shows. So I think this goes for every park, especially for Magic Kingdom. Go to the Tiki Room, go to Carousel of Progress, do the People Mover.
Ooh, I love the People Mover.
Festival of the Lion King in Animal Kingdom.
My
World-
favorite show on
Yep,
property.
World Showcase. You got Living with the Land. You
Oh,
have
Canada.
yes, featuring Martin Short, everyone's favorite Canadian. And then the France. I like the France movie. You can do
Pixar shorts.
Grand Fiesta Tour. I mean, there's so much to do in Epcot indoors. Spaceship Earth, Hollywood Studios. You got Muppet Vision. Beauty and the Beast is still outdoors, so you
Yeah, but I've done it in the rain before.
can do the Frozen show, the Frozen sing along.
Yeah.
So there are just there are a ton of options in each park that you can do indoor stuff and just get out of the heat.
Yeah, I would also just say like take it easy. Don't try to pack too much in because of everything that we just said. The crowds, the heat. Enjoy those indoor shows.
Pace yourself.
Pace yourself. Yeah, do some get your fast passes for lines that are outside. So then that way, you could take a little bit more time waiting in line for those indoor shows instead of waiting in line for 45 minutes outside for a ride.
Yep, all good points. And I think lastly, bring a poncho. So welcome to Florida in the summer. every
It's
day.
gonna happen.
It's not always, but most of the time, there's going to be like an afternoon thunderstorm. Usually they pass through pretty quick, but sometimes it's enough to get you totally drenched. So just pack that extra poncho in your backpack, stroller, or whatever you're carrying, and so that way when it starts to look pretty bad, you can pull that out and put it on, and that way you won't get wet. So,
or have to pay $10 or whatever it is to
bring your own.
Bring your own.
So I think that's about it, Susie. I think we hit all.
Well, I know. I'm upset I can't go and see these amazing fireworks. I have a friend getting married on July 4th.
What?
So I know I can't go. I love you, Amanda, but also Disney on July 4th. But hopefully next year I can fit that in the schedule.
Next year, Imagineers podcast, July 4th.
Live from.
We're gonna be in the parks. We'll plan on it. That'll be fun. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, and we'll go to your special fireworks spot.
Yes.
And we'll just stand in the middle of Main Street for like 3 hours to reserve it.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what you got to do. So thanks for listening to today's podcast, everyone. And once again, if you have loved the episode, we hope you have enjoyed it. Go hit that like button and rate us on iTunes. Then subscribe to us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So go check us out and keep up with the conversation. So
look out for those specific dates and times. Hopefully shortly upcoming from Disney about everything that we just talked about. Since they haven't been released yet, we'll be sure to keep y'all updated with all those specifics.
We absolutely will. So, and we will hope to see you on our next episode. So until then, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.